Welcome to Evolve with the Modern Caveman.
What's going on, beautiful people? Welcome back to another episode of Evolve with the Modern Caveman. I'm your host, Gilbert Diaz, aka the Modern Caveman himself. We have a great show prepared for you as always. If you haven't already, definitely check me out on Instagram at Modern Caveman's Club. That is Modern Caveman, MEN, not MAN. Modern Caveman's Club on Instagram. There you will find tons of content that I've produced over the last couple of years. Little 30-second to a minute to 60-second videos that are basically little summaries of the things that we kind of discuss on this podcast. You may even find a few things that I haven't discussed yet. You may also find some memes and quotes that that I have shared over the last couple of years that have greatly affected my life or improved my life, and I think they could transform your life for the better. So definitely check out any of the content that I've produced there. Also, shoot me a DM. Let me know how these podcast episodes, how this podcast has affected your life. Let me know how I can improve, and just give me back feedback. I'm always looking forward to listening from my listeners, from my audience. I am extremely grateful for the fact that you have joined me on this journey of evolution, and I look forward to serving you the best as I possibly can, and your feedback allows me to do it. So definitely let me know what you think, and also let me know if there is a topic that you would like to cover, you would like me to cover in the future. I definitely look forward to that, or anything that you would like to share from existing episodes, something that you would like to extend. Maybe there's something that I spoke about and you have further insight. Um, Definitely share with me your knowledge, your wisdom, and maybe that's something that I will cover in the future episodes. So that being said, let's if you're joining us for the first time, I talk about this almost on every episode. If you're joining us for the first time, let me be the first to welcome you and thank you for spending your most valuable asset, which is your time, choosing to spend that time with me. I want you to know that I do not take that time for granted, and it is my goal and my intentions here to pour as much value into your life as I possibly can with the time that you have afforded me. With that being said, let's tap into a little bit of that value by tapping into the tool that I use to pour as much value as I possibly can, which is my words. Today, we're going to talk about the influence, the power, and the impact that words have on not just your life, but everybody's lives around you, and how it shapes the world that we live in. So, if you haven't already, my strong suggestion is check out episode 12, which is titled The One Chair. I know I do this a lot. I often go back and I tell you to, I reference either a previous episode or I tell you to check out the previous episode. But there's a reason for that madness. Most times when I'm recording an episode, when I'm usually done recording, I often kind of replay the episode either physically or in my mind, and I often think about uh the other things I could have said, or the depth that I could have gotten into, and I choose to kind of use that as motivation for the next episode, or use that as a as a as a jump board for the next episode. So usually all these episodes kind of align with one another. So if you haven't, like I said, definitely check out last week's episode where we kind of opened the door about this concept of the power of words and how they impact our lives. You definitely there's some good stuff there. Speaking from the heart, if there's anything that that you may take from last week's episode, one of the things that you will take is that I was kind of conflicted with between two topics that I wanted to speak about, and I wasn't sure exactly what lane I wanted to go, and I decided to just kind of shoot from the hip and kind of speak from the heart and see where God takes me. And I kind of promised that you know, if anything, I will kind of go more in depth on any one of those two topics in future episodes, aka today's episode, and maybe some future episodes to come. Um but uh that's what I want to do today. I want to kind of follow up on last week's episode and get a little bit more in depth, get a little bit more deeper in this concept of power of words. Um that being said, if you had checked out last week's episode, I'm not gonna get too in depth on it. I'm not gonna elaborate too much in case anybody is listening for the first time. Um, Definitely you could check it out. But one of the things that I did discuss on last week's episode was an event that occurred about 2 weeks ago in my life. I had met a gentleman at a local pub bar restaurant and we got into a discussion. Now, one thing that I didn't realize is that I had met this gentleman before, and we had met, I would say, several months ago. And when we met, we had a discussion. The man spoke to me about his joy of being a father. This man was absolutely elated with emotions about being a father and how he enjoyed being a dad. And he was kind of just sharing with me some of those little moments that he's had with his, at the time, his 3 4 year old daughter. And he was super excited about it. And in the midst of our conversation, one of the things that I discussed with him was some of the things that I kind of discussed on previous episodes here on this podcast. I kind of shared with him some of the knowledge that I had gained over the years. But one of the things that I specifically shared with him was an event that happened in my life as a father that helped shape how I conduct my day-to-day life, which is uh which is examining that everything in life is temporary, constantly having gratitude and and appreciating the moments as they come while living in the present. I shared with him a story that occurred, an event that occurred with my daughter that kind of shifted that entire thing in my life. And when I was done sharing that story and some of the lessons that I have learned, we parted ways, and I really didn't think I was ever going to see this man again. And then about 2 weeks ago, um, we met again. We didn't quite recognize one another, but once we figured out who we were, the man turned to me. He confessed to me. He said, "the s- the things that I told him that day, the story that I shared with him, forever changed his life." He said now he the way he interacts with his daughter, the way he goes about his day as being a father has completely shifted. And he's appreciating the moments, living in the present. He's living a life of gratitude. And he always acknowledges that everything in life is temporary. And we're kind of just having that conversation, and he was so grateful, he was so kind, and he uh he was just kind of just filled with emotion based on the based on the positive word that I was able to kind of just share with him. And I kind of came back from that experience just a little bit high on life, and thanking God for that, because there are definitely moments in life where you kind of feel like things may not be going your way, or things are not that you may not have the impact that you think you do, and just those little things like that kind of reassure you about um the impact that you have, especially the impact that your words have on someone's life. So today I want to discuss with you guys a little bit more in depth on that. 12 things. These are 12 very simple things. I think it's going to go a little quicker than previous episodes. I know I always say that, but 12 very simple things that 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 words have, 12 very simple impacts that words have on your life, other people's lives, and help shape the world around you. So I want to share with you some of those things today, and then we'll go a little bit more in depth. And like I said, these are 12 things that I came up with. I'm sure there's plenty more, and if there's any more that you think that I should add, perhaps in the future episode, shoot me a DM, let me know more. But these are kind of very quick, very small, short things, that simple things that we probably at times may overlook, because we're going through kind of this busy day-to-day life, and we don't realize how impactful our words can be. So number one, the impact of our words can influence someone's perspective. Number one, our the impact of our words can influence someone's perspective. Words can open our eyes to new ways of thinking. By sharing stories, experiences, or ideas, they help us see the world differently, breaking down our biases and broadening our horizons. I would say, when it comes to influencing, right? I think this is perhaps one of the biggest thing that we often see weaponized by the media, or by just people in general, right? See, I in previous episode I did discuss that there are certain things in life that we can't control. We can't control how uh how people think. We can't control what people do. We can influence them, but we can't control them. And we can influence them by sharing our beliefs, by sharing our experiences. We can influence them by the way we use our words. I remember one time I saw a speech by somebody who basically he came up and he convinced uh the entire crowd that cancer cancer that's often produced by cigarettes was not true, that it was actually our genetics that caused the cancer. And simply by the way he articulated himself, and the way he structured his words, and the way he spoke with confidence and with assertiveness, he was able to convince other people of lies. We see this, like I said, today in the media, or with politicians, right? And I'm not one to really get into politics or anything like that, but we constantly see this on a day-to-day basis. It is part of our daily living, right? Adolf Hitler had this for whatever he had this amazing way of using his words. And the way he used his words allowed him to shape the biases that occurred in his country, shaped the biases against the Jewish people that eventually led to the Holocaust. In fact, I'm not sure if Adolf Hitler ever actually killed a Jewish person, or any person for that matter, with a weapon, but his words were able to influence people's beliefs. They were able to influence people's perspectives. They were able to influence the way people kind of I guess their perceptions, right? And it led to hate. It led to anger. It led to despair. If only we understood the power of our words, that we will know that the influence that we have can be life or death for someone else. The influence of your words can literally be the difference between whether someone chooses to carry on or choose to quit. The influence of our words have extreme meanings on the way we shape our world. So we must be careful on the way we choose to express these words, because they do have immense influence. It's one of the things that companies today pay tons of money to a bunch of people. We call them influencers on Instagram, right? Right. So we and those influencers basically they create trends. They shift I'm looking for the right word. They shift culture, and they change the way we look at the world around us. So definitely um think about how much influence your words have on others. One of the I want to share with you a great quote from the great J.K. Rawlings. Words are, in my not so humble opinion, she says, our most inexhaustible source of magic. Number two, our words impact because they can motivate someone to take action. Sometimes all it takes is the right words to get us moving. Whether it's a call to action or a simple, you got this, words can light a fire under us, pushing us to do what needs to be done. I think as you know, as a motivational speaker, is one of the one thing that we often want to do. We want people to take action, and the way we articulate our words could be the difference between whether someone actually takes action or just someone stays sitting on the sidelines. The most powerful weapon on earth is the human soul on fire. That is a quote taken from Ferdinand Fauch. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Number three, our words inspire people to change. Words have the power to spark change within us. A powerful message can encourage us to rethink our choices, challenge our habits, and strive to become better versions of ourselves. It's one of the reasons why I do this podcast. It's one of the reasons why I share the content that I share, because I want to help change people's lives. And you never know. You never know what one positive word, like just like this man that I met a few weeks ago, a few months ago rather, and re-met a few weeks ago. You never know what one positive word, how that positive word can change someone's life and change it for the better, or even change it for the worse. The only way to make sense out of change is to plunge it into, move with it, and join the dance. Alan Watts. Number four, our words challenge and persuade us to become better. Words can push us to grow, whether through constructive criticism or encouraging advice. They challenge us to step out of our comfort zones and aim higher. One of the one of the best quotes that I've ever heard was from the great Les Brown, great speaker Les Brown. He said, um, and I want to get this correct. He said, most people are in despair um, because, oh, I'm messing it up. He says that most people are disappointed with their lives, not because they aimed too high and missed, but because they aimed too low and hit, or refused to aim at all. I want you to think about that. Most people are in despair in their lives, not because they aimed too high and missed, but because they aimed too low and hit, or didn't aim at all. Do not follow where the path may lead. Go instead where there is no path and leave a trail. Ralph Waldo Emerson, excuse me, Emerson. Ralph Waldo Emerson. Number 5, our words help to educate and inform others. Words are our greatest tool for learning. They convey knowledge, they teach new skills, and they provide the information we need to understand the world around us. I can't, you know, tell you how much I appreciate education today. My wife is an educator. We know a lot of a lot of my families are educators. Um, as a preacher and as someone who's been in the self-development world and coaching and stuff like that, I have inadvertently, I never thought that I would kind of just step into the education field, the self-education field. Um, Education is such an important part of the human experience, and it is, I think, detrimental that we do everything that we can to to further our education, not just on on our profession, but just further our education on the things that make us human, right? The things that connect us with one another, the things that are often dismissed because they don't make money, or they don't further a career. These are the things that often have to do with your mindset and your emotions. Uh, Educating yourself on how to be a better person, I think, is one of the most essential things, and the things that we often don't talk about. But our words have the power to inform that, and I believe, and this is my personal opinion, and this is the reason why I do what I do, is I believe, listen, if you learn something, if someone poured into your life, I think you have an obligation to pour back into someone else. The version of you that's perhaps maybe a few weeks behind, or a month behind, or a few years behind, so that they don't have to perhaps go through the same things that you went through. We do this with our children. We do this with our mentees. I believe that it is essential, and it is our responsibility to pour back that information using our words wisely so that we can help the people behind us. Education is the most powerful weapon which we can use to change the world. That was Nelson Mandela. Number 6, our words impact because they can uplift someone from despair. In dark times, words can be a lifeline. A kind word or an encouraging message can lift someone out of despair, reminding them that there is always hope. I can't tell you how many times I've had conversations with people, and you know, all they needed, all they needed was all they needed was a kind word, someone to say, I'm listening, someone to say, I love you, someone to say, I'm there. Be kind, speak kind, speak kindly. You never know the power of a positive word and how deep it will resonate with someone's life, the things that it will create. Once you choose hope, anything's possible. Christopher Reeve said that. Number 7, the impact that words have on people. They connect people and ideas. Words bring us together. They help share ideas, find common ground, and build relationships that might never have existed otherwise. I'm a firm believer that we are more alike than we are different. I've shared that on this podcast, and I think one of the saddest things in this in recent years has been this reluctance to communicate with one another. This reluctance to sit at the table with those that we perceive to be our enemies and find common ground, share ideas with one another. I often find that the people that are least successful in life are the people that don't share their ideas, are the people that don't want to share their knowledge, the people that want to kind of hold it all in. If you want to be successful, share it with someone of like minds. If you want to be successful, and if you want to bridge the gap between biases and prejudices, be willing to sit at the table with those that we perceive to be our enemies. Communicate with one another, and you will see how much more in common we have. I truly believe that um, it is through communication that we learn more deeply about each other. We learn how to be better people. We learn how to be more sensitive. We also learn how to navigate the world in a more sensible way. One of one of the stories that I love the most was a story about Ronald Reagan and um and Khrushchev uh during the height of the Cold War. And this was a story that Tony Robbins actually shared on one of his events. That he asked Khrushchev. He said, what was it about Ronald Reagan that was so impactful? He said, this man, this is what Khrushchev's words. He said, this man, me and him, we had two different perspectives on life. He said, I had this perspective about communism and how communism was better for the world. And Reagan had a different perspective, and he had this perspective about how capitalism and democracy was better for the world. And he's saying we just could not agree with one another, and we were just arguing, and the needle was not being moved. He said, and then we came to a point where we were arguing so much that Reagan gets up and he walks away. And then when he returns, he extends his hand to me. He says, hello, my name is Ronald Reagan. I'm the president of the United States. And he said, and that alone just broke down the barriers and made it possible for the tensions to be eased in the Cold War. He said, because he was willing to start over. He was willing to have the conversation, the hard conversations, the conversations that nobody wanted to have. He was willing to come back to the table. We are stronger when we listen, and we are smarter when we share. Renea Al Abdullah. Number 8, our words can plant seeds that grow into futures. There's a reason why I use that word futures. See, the right words can plant an idea in someone's mind and in their heart that grows into something amazing over time. Whether it's a suggestion, advice, or a passing thought, these seeds can shape someone's future in profound ways. Um, Last week I spoke a little bit about when I was a youth minister in the Bronx. One particular story that comes to mind is a young lady that came to my youth group, and she was a little bit troubled, I would say. She definitely enjoyed chaos. She enjoyed getting under people's skin, particularly the leaders. And here I was, this 19-year-old, 20-year-old kid actually at the time, not too much older than she was. And she looked at me as easy bait, easy to kind of get under my skin and see, how she could take advantage of the things that how she could take advantage of the things that she wanted at the time. Anyways, she drove all the leaders crazy. I mean, absolutely every single leader would come to me like, I can't take her. I don't know how to speak to her. I don't know how to deal with her. But when it came to me, as much as she tried hard, um, I didn't give in. I didn't give in. I I instead of getting frustrated, instead of getting angry with her, I try to find the child in her, and I try to pour into that. I came to learn that there were many things that this young lady had in her life that other people would just simply dismiss. There were things in this young lady's life that people um didn't care to listen to, and I opened my ear to her. And just simply by opening my ear, one of the greatest advice that I ever learned was uh speak less, listen more. And the moment I was able to open my ears to her and she was able to pour out her life to me, then she was open for me to speak. And I took that opportunity to love on her, to speak love into her life, to show her that she was worthy, that we did care, and that she was wanted in this world. Now, those were just kind of small little casual conversations that I will often uh kind of just pour into her. Nothing really in depth, and at times, with her behavior, you weren't really sure if it was sticking. But over time, I watched that fruit, that little seed that I planted in her heart, begin to blossom. And she began to open up more and more with me. And she learned to respect me. And we had a very, very beautiful relationship. So you never know. You may be talking to someone today, excuse my accent, right? You may be speaking with someone and you may not realize the that little seed, that little ounce of knowledge, that little expression of love, how much that person would need it, how much it would mean to that person. I don't know. I saw this quote the other day. I'm not sure which one of my friends put it up, but it basically said, life is too short. Life is too short. And we don't know when the end of the road will come. So make sure that when you speak to someone, And I'm just going to paraphrase it, but when you speak to someone, because you don't know if it's going to be the last time you speak with them, that the words that you use is not one that you will regret. The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. Eleanor Roosevelt. Number 9, our words discourage bad behaviors and encourage good ones. Words can steer us away from harmful actions. By setting expectations, or rather standards for your life, or expressing disapproval, they guide us towards making better choices. In the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. That was words spoken by Martin Luther King, and is words that that resonate so hard with me today. I have a good friend of mine, um, who we in the past, there was some decisions that he was gonna make that was gonna alter his life forever. And I remember that I didn't agree with those decisions. I believe those decisions were going to take him down a dangerous path. But I was afraid of offending him. I was afraid of offending him. And I remember I said nothing. Now, it turned out that um he ended up taking a different path, but I remember one time we were having a conversation and I said, "Well, yeah, I didn't really think you should go, make those decisions, but I didn't want to hurt your feelings." And he looked at me seriously and he told me, "Hurt my feelings, offend me, do whatever you need to do. But if you know that there is something that I'm doing something that I shouldn't be doing, or I'm going to take an action that I shouldn't take, and you don't tell me, then you're complacent in it." It really hit my heart. To this day, we have an open and honest conversations, even when we don't like what the others have to say. Don't be silent. Don't be silent. Express your opinion, especially when it comes to taking actions that that are positive or negative actions in your life. Words spread wisdom. Words carry with them the lessons of those who came before us. And they pass down wisdom, offering guidance and insights that help us navigate life's challenges with a bit more clarity and understanding. If only I could go back and just listen to some of the stories, or the words of my grandparents, or the people who came before me. Only if I could just listen a little bit more intently. If only we all did that, right? We appreciated those little bits of information. We can make our lives a little bit better. I believe that the the life that we live should be a blueprint for the people that come after us. Live your life in such a way that you leave a blueprint for the people behind you. Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. Aristotle. Number 11, words provide comfort. Words can heal in moments of pain or sorrow. They can offer comfort, soothe wounds, and remind us that we are not alone. And we've kind of discussed that before. Love on people, comfort people, speak kindly to one another. Too often we underestimate the power of a touch, a smile, a kind word, a listening ear, an honest compliment, or the smallest act of caring, all of which have the potential to turn a life around. Leo Buscaglia. Hope I didn't butcher that. But I think of all the things, the most important thing that words, the most important impact that words have is that they tell, this is number 12, they tell the world who you are. The words we choose to express ourselves say a lot about who we are. They reveal our values, our beliefs, and our personality, showing the world our true self. Every time you open your mouth, you tell the world who you are. That was something again from the great speaker Les Brown when he asked his mentor what's among the three things that he should learn. One of those things was learn to communicate, because the moment you open your mouth, you reveal to the world who you really are. There's some that will say that your words are a reflection of your heart. In a matter of fact, in the Word of God, in the Bible, it says that words that when you, that your own words uh reflect your own heart. They show what's in your heart. Words mean more than what is set down on paper. It takes the human voice to infuse them with deeper meaning. Maya Angelou. Remember the power and the impact that words have on your life and how they can influence other people's lives as well as shape the world around you. Those are just 12 very simple things that I wanted to share with you today. Um, if you enjoyed this episode, I hope that you share it with a friend, share it with a family member, or anybody that you think will greatly benefit from this. Um, like I said before, follow me on Instagram, send me a DM. Let me know how this episode has impacted your life. Let me know if you would add to this list, what things you would add, and share with me your experiences with words, maybe the words that you've expressed and how they've impacted other people's lives, or how other people's words have impacted your lives and shaped the way you carry your life today. Before I end this episode, I want to just share one last word of encouragement. Go out there, be the best version of yourself. Unlock the fullness of your potential by simply being better than you were yesterday. You were created with greatness. Greatness lives within you. You have a purpose. You have a place in this world. You are worthy of the air in your lungs. I want you to know that you are loved, and that I know we probably um haven't met, but I care about you. I care and I am concerned about your life, and I want to see you become the best version of yourselves. And I believe wholeheartedly if we can all do this, we can create a society that we can be proud of, that we can um hold dear, and we can get to the end of our lives with no regrets. I want to share that word with you, encourage you to constantly strive for better. That being said, like I mentioned in the previous episodes, stay tuned. Very soon, I will be releasing the title to my new book that I will be releasing by either the end of this month or the beginning of next month. I haven't decided yet on the release date, but stay tuned. I will be releasing that very, very shortly. And as always, keep evolving the modern caveman way.